Twitch has laid off over 400 employees. That's a fifth of its workforce. To say times are tough in the job market is an understatement, to say the least, with stagnating wages in many industries, as well as the constantly rising cost of essentials. Whether you work in retail, tech, or industrial, things are tough for the average worker. This is especially true with the lack of stability within the tech industry specifically. Tech giants such as Microsoft, Google, and Meta are all making massive cuts to their workforce in order to preserve profits for their shareholders. It appears that streaming giant Twitch is the next company that will be cutting jobs within the tech industry. Again, this isn't necessarily gaming, but this is absolutely the platform that we are on right now, right? So let's talk about this. In a blog post on Twitch's official site, it was revealed that 400 jobs have been cut from the streaming giant's workforce. Details are scarce in terms of what departments of Twitch were affected by these layoffs. Twitch CEO Dan Clancy had this to say about the layoffs. Like many companies, our business has been impacted by the current macroeconomic environment, and user and revenue growth has not kept pace with our expectations. In order to run our business sustainably, we've made the very difficult decision to shrink the size of our workforce. Clancy has only just taken over the CEO position of Twitch this past week, as the former founder and CEO Emmett Shear stepped down from the role late last week. Layoff will cut just around 1/5 of Twitch's workforce. Coincidence? We've got some things to discuss here. Oh, dude, look, this is crazy, man. These layoffs come off a record-breaking 2022 for both Twitch and its parent company, Amazon. Twitch hauled in a record amount of revenue in 2022 with just over $2.8 billion in revenue. While Amazon, the parent company of Twitch, hauled in just over $149 billion just in the fourth quarter of 2022 alone. This isn't the only move by Twitch to carve more money out of their employees and community. In 2022, the company reworked its revenue split with its content creators from a 70-30 revenue split, that's what I was talking about earlier, to a massively adjusted 50-50 split. So if you subscribe to your favorite streamer for $5, Twitch takes $2.50 of that automatically. This was met with backlash from creators and viewers alike, but unfortunately Twitch never addressed this issue publicly. This revenue split caused an exodus of big-name streamers who opted to pursue a partnership with YouTube instead. Streaming space is only going to get more competitive with massive sites like YouTube as well as independent streaming sites like Kick, all fighting for a piece of the pie, laying off staff whose work likely affects the quality of the site's performance as well as moderation is likely a mistake. One would think that all the layoffs at Twitter, which have caused the site massive technical issues alongside content moderation concerns that have driven off the many big-name advertisers, these problems could very well be Twitch's problem if they continue to go down this path. Only time will tell how these layoffs will affect the overall health of the site. This is great. They have numbers in here too. So let's discuss this. Now that I have even more information on this, so whenever I first saw this pulled up, whenever we first saw this article this morning, I said, one of the things I talked about that first came to mind was this revenue split that Twitch felt like they needed to make from taking a 70-30 split of revenue from content creators on this platform to the 50-50 split, right? And just without knowing any of their revenue numbers or anything like that, it was like, it's kind of wild that last year, at the end of the year, I'm pretty sure, is whenever this took place, and they felt like they needed to adjust the revenue split. So they're making more money off of all the content creators on their site, and now they need to lay off a fifth of their workforce. So, look, don't get me wrong. There's always a need for companies to be doing performance reviews, making sure that they are getting rid of people that are not pulling their weight, right? That is absolutely part of sustaining a successful business. If you've employed people that are not producing, then they need to be trimmed. They need to be gotten rid of. If they're not doing their job, and they're not helping the business thrive and succeed, what are they doing there, right? But this is different. And I said this whenever we saw all the other layoffs in the tech industry and the gaming industry. There's a difference between continual, a business taking a continual look at the performance appraisal process for employees and making sure that people are holding up their end of what their job is, yeah, so that they are making, they're being paid for doing a job and they're doing the job that they're being paid for. If that's not the case, they need to get out, yeah, and that's what a job is supposed to be doing. But there's a difference here. This is not what this is, and that's a lot of what's been happening in the tech industry and the gaming industry. We've seen plenty of businesses that have just been very, very profitable, that have been like, oh, well, we're just going to cut a bunch of jobs anyways. You know, they've made a ton of money over the past year, and they've gone ahead and just cut a significant part of their workforce. And it does not, in my opinion, seem like something that has anything to do with a performance appraisal process. These are mass quantity job layoffs where they just found a large number of roles that they felt like they could do away with and still get the job done. And this is no exception here. Twitch, this is exactly what this seems like from Twitch as well, especially after seeing these numbers. So, not only, did it already look bad enough that Twitch laid off 400, a fifth of their workforce, after also adjusting this revenue split from 70-30 to a 50-50 split. And it was like, okay, wait, you're making 20% more money off of all the, content creators on your site than you were before, but you still need to cut 400 jobs. Now we know that they hauled in a record amount of revenue last year at 2.8 billion, and they still needed to get rid of 400 jobs. They thought they needed to get rid of 400 jobs anyways. And here's another thing that, we saw this past week in the news that their founder and former, at this point, CEO Emmett Shear stepped down, stating like family reasons, like basically wanted to focus on family and raise, helping be around kids more often and stuff. But now that all this has come out, I wonder how much of this, the statement about the family and stuff was to save face, and it didn't actually have to do with the fact that maybe Emmett was against what has been happening at Twitch, and was feeling the pressure by a lot of other people because it wasn't the popular opinion, and finally just decided to be like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. Because I have an inkling that that was probably the case. It seems a bit too convenient that Mr. Shear ends up stepping down at the same exact time that all of this other stuff is happening. So, gut feeling here for me is that probably Mr. Emmett Shear here probably had some kind of disdain for even the revenue split stuff, and I could be wrong, but the revenue split stuff, and then the mass layoffs and everything, and had just maybe had enough of it. This is pretty gross, though. This is pretty disgusting. Honestly, worrisome too. Oh, I would love to talk to this individual. I doubt that I doubt it would do any good, even if that is the actual reason. Um, getting Mr. Emmett Shear to divulge that, it probably wouldn't happen. But that's a weird situation, is it not?